Do you have a system that's going to help you pot this 4-ball into the corner pocket? Or do you just use your gut like I used to? If you don't know that system, you're in the right place, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be talking about a system that's floating around out there. I don't even know what you call it. I would say it's a close rail projection system for kicking. I always called it Philly system because late 90s, my friend Philly Quinnell taught me this system. So I'm going to explain how he taught it to me, and then I'm also going to be talking about how I've adjusted the system. So for example, I've thrown some reinforcements down on the table here just to help us understand and create a little bit of consistency when I set this up for you, okay? So my first line is going to be what you saw in the intro here. So I've got my 4-ball and I'm hooked on it. So a lot of people, they just play this by gut. They use their gut and they don't have a quantifiable way, but we like to have quantifiable ways. So what we're going to do here is use the system, and I'm going to call it from this point forward Philly system, but you can call it whatever you want. So what we do is we take the center of the cue ball and we measure back to the rail. We take that distance and we double it. So this distance I used to measure by my cue, and now I double it. So this takes a little bit of practice. You have to be able to visualize the difference. A lot of times I'll use my fingers like so, and then I double it, right? In any event, I find a spot. That's my spot. That's the spot that I'm going to be aiming for. I've got a little washer here to help you guys visualize it. So that's the spot I'm aiming for. So now when I go back to my cue ball, I'm going to be aiming for that spot. Take it back to the cue ball. So when I'm aiming for this spot, I'm actually hitting the rail back here. That's the key and important thing to understand. So when I hit the rail back here, I should hit that 4-ball and kick it in. Now when Philly taught me this system, he said he always likes to be hitting this shot with running outside English. So a little bit of right. And he says that just helps it nudge in. And there is something to that. So let's just do it. This shot right here, I'm just going to hit no English right at my spot, and we'll see what happens. Right in the heart. So now what happens if I take my cue ball, which was relatively the first diamond over here. What happens if I take my cue ball and I move it to that reinforcement right there? So now we're just a little bit past this middle diamond, right? So to be hooked, I'm going to move this 13 ball over. Remember my washer. Now, the distance of my 7 ball, it hasn't changed, okay? So why should I change the aim point? Now, what do you think is going to happen? My cue ball is quite a ways different. It's a whole diamond over. What's going to happen now? If I use the same system, I aim right at the dot. Do you think I'm going to make that 7 ball without making an adjustment? Let's see. Not even close. Okay, so obviously the fact that the cue ball went from there all the way to there means that we need to make some kind of adjustment. So let's see if we can shoot this but just aim to the left of this spot and add the English that Philly was talking about. And that seemed to be enough. So what did we learn in that? We learned that the position of the cue ball actually does make a difference. We have to make an adjustment. But in this circumstance, when it was just the cue ball, not moving the object ball here, we just had to make a slight adjustment. And we moved the cue ball a whole diamond over. So what I did is I had my spot and I just moved it over. I aimed probably 1/4 of an inch over to the left of it. And I used the running English and it went right in the heart. Okay, so let's make things interesting. Let's move the 6 ball from that point all the way over to there. So the biggest difference obviously is now I can get balls through here, right? We're a good ball and 3/4, ball and a half away from the rail now. This makes this kick exponentially harder. And what I'm going to suggest to you is that our system is not going to work anymore. It's not enough. We have to make our adjustment, right? So for example, if I use my system, this is where I put my washer, right there. I'm telling you, it's not going to work. And I'll prove that to you right now. Not even close. So we need to make an adjustment. So if I put that 6 ball back there, so I'll tell you what my adjustment is. I use a ghost ball. So for example, I imagine that a ghost ball is right in front of it. Then I measure right to the front of that ghost ball. Then I double that. Then I take it and I transfer it over. Move my washer there just so you guys see. So instead of my spot being around here, I've moved it way over here, out and up. So what is that? That really transfers my contact point. If I were to aim at my spot, you know, I'm hitting the rail way up here. That's going to make a difference, right? So let's give it a shot. Okay, so now we're going to be same spot. Remember, we've got all these distance here. We've got our spot marked still from before, but we're going to have this cue ball further out. I'm going to hit right towards the spot that we found, and let's see what happens. It's funny, isn't it? So let's go back in time and take a look. When we shot this one, we used our normal system. When we moved our cue ball out and we were less acute of an angle, we found that we had to make a little bit of an adjustment. I aimed a little bit left, and then a little bit of running English helped it, right? There was an adjustment, but you just saw that from this position, we found our spot, to this position, there was no adjustment. Maybe if we tried it, we might as well just try it right now. So I'm hooked. I'm going to aim for my spot with no adjustment. Let's see what happens. Looks like there needs to be a little bit of an adjustment. Let's try again, except we'll do that adjustment that we did on the first scenario. So we're way over here, we're 2 diamonds over, and I'm just going to aim for my spot a little bit left, but with the outside. Look at that, eh? So what we just saw, I'm learning as I make the video, that's funny. So what we just saw is I didn't have to make an adjustment between there and there. I just shot at my dot and it sank. When I moved my cue ball all the way over here, I did the same adjustment that I did on the first scenario when we were on this dot, where I just aimed a little bit left and some outside, and it kicked it in. So, you know, it takes practice. Okay, I want to talk about something that creeps into our games from time to time, and using the system that we just learned to help us escape from what we did to ourselves. So for example, take a look at what we did. We didn't play shape for shape, did we, right? We're on the 8 ball and we got to get all the way down to that 9 ball. So we've got a few ways that we could deal with this. I mean, we can try to punch it, you know, maybe cheat it even, cheat it to the right. I mean, we're dead straight here, so maybe jam it this way. Yeah, I could get shape like that. Maybe backspin. Maybe backspin would have been, but I've got really slow rails. I don't make it. So what if we use the system that we just learned right here, right? So there's a funny thing about this system. If you're just playing by yourself, you've only got yourself to blame if you miss this. If you're playing on a team and you do this shot here and you miss it, then you've got 4 or 5 of your teammates over there. Oh my God, I can't believe you did that, right? But in the end, we just learned a system. Let's try to be confident in it, right? So for example, what's stopping us from using the system and getting shape down there, right? So we're just gonna double it up that quick. I hit it too hard, right? Just practice, right? Do anything. Double. See, remember the system is, oh, I can get 1 ball, basically 1 ball here, but I'm not gonna adjust it. I'm just gonna do my double up. I'm gonna aim right there. Maybe aim a little bit left and outside. You get my point, right? So it's natural shape. It's easy shape for you to get on that lost ball down there, so you can get yourself out of trouble. All right, so in conclusion, I've shown you how I use this projection type system when kicking these close rail object balls, right? There's a few varying ways of using this system. Some people like to shoot in front, and some people like to use the contact point right away. This is the way I use it. And what I've shown you here is my adjustment and the point that I adjust. And I adjust when that object ball is a ball to 2 balls away. That's when I start thinking about it. And obviously the cue ball makes a difference too, where it's in congruence to that side rail. So those are the things that you need to think about. I've given you a baseline here, right? This is my baseline, and this is where I start playing with it, right? You have to go to the pool table, do the same thing that I've done. Throw some reinforcements on the table and try to reproduce results, right? That's one of the best ways to learn, right? So throw reinforcements down and try to repeat it. And understand, we all have our own tendencies. And truthfully, I haven't even talked about felt. Felt makes a difference. My felt is so worn, I really need to get my table refelted, right? So that makes a difference, right? You might have new felt, which may adjust or might require you to adjust this system somewhat, right? We have to play the terrain. That's important. So with all that, the biggest thing that I can tell you is you have my baseline, go back to your table, practice this, right? See where your jumping point off is, right? That's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you want notifications for future videos, please hit that bell notification. Until the next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.